All right, one, two, three. We're here with Sam Bashiry. It's a pleasure, Sam. I appreciate you coming on to the podcast here. My name is Michael. I'm hosting the podcast. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Michael. I appreciate it.
Oh, come on. It's all love. So, yes, Sam, I genuinely wanted to have you on. I've been looking into your Instagram. I've been searching you, seeing what you're doing. I love what you're doing from afar. It's absolutely amazing. And I love how authentic you are. I saw a story the other day, where you were in the Ferrari or you got like a gift from a Ferrari part. It wasn't from Ferrari. And I think you have people saying, did you just get this given to you for free? And you're like, and you're driving your car. You're like, I didn't get this for free. I paid for this. And I just started looking into you after that, believe it or not, and prior to it. And I just feel that authenticity and the rawness. And I feel that there's value that we could, discuss and share and give. So I want to ask you, Sam, what is the story? What's the background briefly on your starting point, where you're from, to how you got to where you are? And then I'd love to touch on a few of the things. I just read about your Wikipedia. You turned a $1,000 investment to a company generating $25 million a year. So I want to touch on a few things, but what's the story? Who's Sam Bashiry?
Look, Michael, I was born in Iran. I left Iran as a 10-year-old to come to Australia for a better life. We came here illegally with my mum and sister. So I did around 2.5 years in detention between the age of 10 and 12 and a half. I never forget, we landed here. We went to immigration. We had no passports. We got locked up. We were taken to a detention center. On the way, all I could look for was kangaroos, because I was told there's a lot of kangaroos, in Australia.
And how old are you? How old are you right now?
I'm 44. So I'm 44.
No,
so 34 years ago, man. So yeah.
So you were 10 years old. So you came from Iran, and you were almost placed in like a facility of some sort. You didn't have passports.
It's like a jail. Yeah, it's like a jail. So it's basically where they put people for between 1 or 2 weeks before they send you back to your country if you overstayed your visa. It was never built for long-term stay. So we stayed there for around 2 to 2.5 years, and it was pretty hard. Couldn't speak English. Didn't know anyone here. And you touched on being authentic and all that kind of stuff. And like, it all starts from your childhood, because I remember so many strangers coming to see us and show us so much love. And it's funny, I really don't think about it a lot, but now that I'm talking about it, it takes me back to 34 years ago, and how they came and saw us and gave us love, and above all, gave us hope, that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's going to be okay. Because all I can remember is my mom crying every night, thinking they're going to send us back to Iran and we're going to get shot when we get back there. So it's pretty daunting, man.
That is insane. So you're in this facility, there's somewhat of a jail type of, thing. You're there for 2.5 years. And then what was the coming out of this situation like? How did how did that happen?
So basically they check you out, make sure you're not a criminal, your background's okay. They check out your story. So they check out your story and why you're there. And then they let you out and they put you in a different facility, which is called a hostel, which is basically for migrants that come to Australia to settle into the community. So that's where I learned to speak English. That's where I learned to grow up. That's where I learned about the Australian culture. It was pretty different, man. Like I remember going to school and, first day standing up when the teacher walked into the classroom and everyone laughing at me, because we don't do that in Australia. Whereas in Iran, it's a sign of respect when the teacher walks in, you stand up. So it was a big change. It was a big change as a kid. And I learned to grow up pretty quick, man. So I had to grow up very, very quick.
Yeah, I feel that. And that aligns with what you've done. And it kind of, I feel this, cohesiveness when I speak to entrepreneurs. They're mature, they're old souls in a sense, many of them, not all of them, but many of them. And they see things quicker, right? They adapt into environments and they kind of make magic, not magic, but you know what I mean? To many others, magic. So yeah, so after this, you came into you started to adapt. I feel you. I'm visualizing you as a kid standing up. Other kids are like, what are you doing? Sit down. But that's what you know. And, I like even that, almost that should be something, paying respect to the teacher coming in the room of some sort. I like that. So how is that adapting from, let's say you're 10, you come in, so around 12 and a half or so, you're now into the society, right? You're out of the facility there. So what's the story from the 12 and a half, Sam, to let's say when you started your first like entrepreneurial endeavor of some sort?
Look, man, I was completely lost. I followed the system. I was, coming from the Iranian community. It's really important to become a doctor or engineer. There's so much pressure on you as a kid to make it as a doctor or engineer. Anything else was a failure. So in the sense of things, I failed because I didn't become any of them, right? I went to uni. I hated uni. I didn't really like school. I got bullied at school as a kid. So school was just a game of survival for me, just to survive. It was never about education. It was about survival.
Oh
So I
wow.
survived school. I went to uni. Um, I crossed paths with someone, a friend of mine that I was in the detention center with, funnily enough. And he showed me the real world. He opened my eyes up, He showed me the real world. And from uni, I really didn't enjoy it either. So for me, there was a couple of defining moments in my life. One defining moment was the moment that I pulled into the driveway of my mum and dad's house where I used to live.
Yeah.
And I just looked in the rearview mirror of the car and I started bursting out and crying. I just felt lost, man. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I felt like a loser. I had no idea what I was doing with my life. So at that point, I made a decision to go and look for work. I got a job in an IT company. This is back in the day that internet was just starting. So I got a job as a help desk officer at $7.50 an hour. So basically, if you couldn't connect to the internet, you call, I'll help you connect to the internet. I had no idea what I was doing, no idea whatsoever. I rocked up first, I left last. We had cubicles, probably 3 or 4 people in the different cubicles. And I just listened, learned.
Very early,
I
and this is very early in internet days,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
This is the dial-up days, man. So I did that for a number of years, and I thought, you know what, this is terrible. Everyone that calls is always pissed off. This is a really not a job that I want to do for the rest of my life. I moved into sales. I did sales for a number of years, and I was really good at it. I love networking. I love getting to know people, and I always went above and beyond. Very important, above and beyond. And I never disappointed anyone. If I said I was going to do something, I went above and beyond, even though that I was working for somebody else. I always delivered.
Mhm.
So yeah, look, I did that for a number of years, and then one day I thought to myself, I want to do my own thing. I can't be part of this system. I'm not a 9 to 5er. I don't do Friday night drinks with everybody else. I can't suck up to my boss. I got too much ego. It's just not me.
Yeah.
And I realized that I
Fit.
wasn't going to move up. I wasn't going to move up because I wasn't built that way.
Yeah.
And I have a big thing with ego. It's such a good thing sometimes. It's such a bad thing. It's a good thing because it pushes you to go and make your
Pushes
dreams
you to
come
be that
true.
lion. Yeah. Right. And you want to create your own lane, your own path, wake up and curate your own day. You can't have someone else telling you what to do, when to do it. And most people don't know what to do and when to do what. So if you know what to do and when to do it, etc., how to, take action, it's like you don't want to be underneath somebody. It doesn't make sense.
100%, man. And I didn't want to let anyone down. I didn't want to let myself down. I
Mhm.
didn't want to let my parents down because I never felt good enough. I had something to prove to everyone. It was never about the money. It was always about proving that I am fucking good enough, that I can make it. I can do great things. So
Yeah.
that's what pushed me. That pushed me to do, 10, 12, 14, 18-hour days. That's what pushed me, not the money. The fact that I just wanted to feel good enough, right?
Yeah.
So I did that. I started my own business, and it was bloody hard. And through that journey, and I've had this business for 17, 18 years now. Through that journey, there were so many moments that I thought, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? I could go and work somewhere else.
Yeah.
3.3, again, three defining moments through that journey of my, my entrepreneurship. Number one, I was playing golf one day with a friend of mine. I was trying to play golf anyhow. Got a phone call from a hotel saying we need internet. We need internet. We have a conference coming up. We need a fast internet very quickly within a few days. So I stopped playing. I went back to the office. I put a wireless satellite dish on the roof. I gave him the internet. A couple of weeks later, I got another phone call from another hotel saying, we love what you did for this hotel. We have a conference coming up. Can you do the same thing for us? Yes, I can do the same thing. She did the same thing for them. And then after the conference, I said to the gentleman that, Alex, that bought that service from me, I said, why don't you keep it? So every time you have a conference, you can use this for you can use this for your conference. He goes, no. We do with a lot of big companies that provide a movie system, internet, they package it all together. And I said, well, why don't you give me their number and I'll give him a call and maybe there could be some kind of a partnership there. And this is me with an office with 2 desks and 15 square meter office, right now. Anyhow, I had my nephew Lachlan had leukemia. He was going through leukemia treatment at the age of 3. So one day I went to buy him. This is going back a long time ago. Buy him a DVD player so he can watch movies while he's going through his treatment.
Yeah.
I pulled into the mall just before I went in. I thought, you know what? What do I have to lose? I just call this guy, this company, and introduce myself. The worst thing that can happen is he'll tell me to fuck off.
Yeah.
So I picked up the phone, I introduced myself. They put me through this gentleman by the name of Nick. He was the operations manager. He said, you know what? We're going to go through a tender process. Why don't you come and see me in the next couple of months? And I'll let you know. Kept following up. When I saw him in Sydney, which is a different city in Australia, had a conversation with him, got along really well. And he said, you know what? I'll give you a shot to be part of the tender. But mind you, back then I didn't even know what a tender was, right? I didn't know how to write a tender. It's a big document that you have to write to, for government organization or big organizations to be able to be approved to be part of the process. So I went to my old boss and I approached him and I said, Greg, I would love for you to help me write this tender. And he said, look, it's going to cost you $1,500 a day. $1,500 a day was a lot of money for me, man. We were just struggling at that stage. So I remember getting probably 5 or 6 different credit cards and doing cash advance, which is basically taking money out on your credit card at 17, 18% interest rate, and you got to pay it back, right?
Yeah.
Within 50, that's was the 18% interest rate kicks in. So anyways, cut a long story short, 15, 16,000 deep. We put the tender in, wait a few months, get a phone call saying, you're successful with the tender. We love what you've done. The last process is we're going to get head of our operations in Melbourne to come and check out your operation, make sure it's all good to go, and we're in business. So remember this now. I've spent 6 months of my time. I've put in this tender in. It's cost me over 15 grand plus extra X, Y, Z. My operation is 2 desks in an office around 50 square meters. There's no way this guy can come and see my operation, right?
Oh man. So
I always knew. So I always knew it was never about faking it to making it. We could do the job. There's no ifs or buts. We were good at what we did. But we just didn't have the money. We didn't have the facilities.
Yeah.
If we went and bought an office, we would have gone broke, right? So we had to be smart and slow. So anyhow, so I remember going to a real estate agent and I was talking to him and saying, look, can I borrow a big office for the day? And he told me to go away. We don't do that kind of stuff. Go away, man. So I never forget, I'm driving home and man, I'm just absolutely shattered. Absolutely shattered. I can't even describe the pain I was in, right? It was just numb. I felt numb. Number one, my ego, right? I can't have this guy come and look at this and just say, what the hell,
Yeah, it's got
Number
you
two,
messed up. I feel you.
yeah,
Okay.
Number 2, the money that I didn't have that I got to pay back at 18% interest rate. I'm a massive believer of karma, man. Like, I'm not a religious person, but I'm a massive believer of karma. You got to put in the work. And if you're a good human being, and your ancestors are being good humans and everything else, everything works out. So in the morning, I make a phone call and the guy's like, I'm too busy. I can't make it. Why don't you come to my office and see me?
Oh
So
my
God. I went to his office and he was just a very short guy. Didn't really want me to talk too much. Every time I opened my mouth, he cut me off. Anyhow, after the meeting, I'll get a phone call an hour later from Nick saying, he loved you guys. We're in business. Let's move forward.
Get out of here.
And that's how we go to hotels. We look after 90% of all the hotels in Australia now. So every time you stay in a hotel, Hyatt, Hilton, Marriott, use the internet, it's ours. There's 3 defining moments, man. The day I was playing golf, I could have continued to drink and play golf and not go and put that internet link in. I could have not asked that question through Alex, who they dealt with, and if I could have an opportunity to call that person. And number 3 was when I was going to get that DVD player for my nephew, I could have not made that phone call. Those 3 things changed my entire life. And at that moment, I never, ever thought it would change my life. I didn't look at it like that. I looked at it as 3. First 2, common sense. The third one, oh, well, what I got to lose? I just make that phone call.
Yeah.
And when there's other thing, Steve Jobs says, you can connect the dots when you look back. And now,
I swear, I was just thinking connect the dots. I'm not even kidding. Those are the terms I said in my head. Yeah.
That's what it is, bro. 18 years later, I look back and I can connect all the dots, man.
Yeah.
So what I say to people is when you fail, when something goes wrong, whatever, sometimes it's meant to be, man. You don't know what's
silver lining of some sort. Yes.
Or just do it. Just, common sense. Like, don't be afraid. What is the worst thing that can happen? it doesn't work out, but at least you gave it a go. And a lot
Yeah.
of people are afraid to give it a go, man. They're
Yeah, they're
afraid.
scared. The majority, 90%, they're scared. 9 out of 10
Of
people are
what?
like, ah, I'm just gonna head back home, put on Netflix, man,
Of what?
right?
What are you
Yeah,
scared of?
yeah, exactly. Unbelievable. So, so you got this business to a point where you're doing 25 million in annual revenue.
Yeah, man. Like we've had this business for 17, 18 years. And, even with this business, we've had our ups and downs. The industry's
Yeah, of
changing all the
course.
time. We've gone up, we've come down. And it's funny, I had a chat to one of the people in our marketing company. And he asked me for some advice. And I said, listen, people look at your life now and they think, oh, wow, all the nice cars, this, that, life is good. It never ends, man. It's a constant hustle, even after 18 years. I always say to
It's
people,
perpetual.
see all these nice things. I still have to pay for them every month.
Yeah.
I have to pay for this living. It doesn't stop. I don't have my mom and dad that gave me. Oh, it would be nice. I wish they did. They give me
Yeah.
a
No, I
hundred
hear
million
you.
dollars and
But
said,
honestly, it's better you could catch the fish, instead of not being able to catch the fish, like that analogy too. And in some cases, like my parents did well, and they really taught me how to be militant in certain areas. Yes,
and my
discipline
kids
and
get to do
whatnot.
that.
Yes,
And my
yes,
kids get
yes.
to do that, man. And
Oh, exactly, exactly.
uh,
Your kid, like you just said to me, when you have your kid see your Ferrari or whatever it is, he's gonna jump in that, but you're gonna teach him unique, outlooks on it, value of it, of course, all these logical things, and that's
100%.
something it's not so common too when it comes to wealth. When that generational pass happens, it's tough. It's one of those, and now like it's easy to make a million, it's harder to keep the million. It's the same type of thing, right?
100%, man.
Yeah.
100%, man. And my daughter said to me, hey, Dad, when I turn 18, I want a Ferrari. So I said, I'll do you a deal. You come to the office every Saturday, you clean the office. You clean the office, right? And I'll pay you. And every cent you save when you turn 18, I will match it. And if I've done my job by that age, taught you to buy property and invest your money, then great. If I haven't, you can have your Ferrari. But there's no free rides here. You got to work for your money. You got to understand the value of money. You got to understand, humility. You got to work. I came from nothing, man, and I could lose everything tomorrow. And I'll tell you something, it wouldn't bother me because I've been on this journey that I could have never, ever, ever dreamt of in my wildest imagination, man. And I've
Yeah.
lived every moment of it, and I'm still
Feel
living every
you.
moment of it,
You
man.
have gratitude and whatnot. And I
Oh,
feel it.
dude.
I feel it.
Oh, yeah. It's
Absolutely
amazing,
amazing.
man.
It's
It's
amazing.
amazing.
No, I love it. I love it. I'm so happy we connected, and I felt it just following you. So you're doing awesome with what you're doing. Again, that rawness I think really resonates, and then you have value, it's real. So that's awesome. Aside from what you're doing, are you involved in any other endeavors that may be of interest? Like you get involved with real estate? I just heard you maybe
Yeah,
reference.
man. Look, I realized I was always bad with money. If I had $100 or XYZ in my pocket, if I went out, it was gonna go. So I recognized that I was very bad with money. I love spending money. I love seeing joy on people's faces. I love, spreading the love amongst my friends.
Yeah.
So I got into real estate probably 14 years ago. I thought, if I get into real estate, what I don't have, I can't
It's a
spend.
safe net.
So,
It's smart. Yeah, I'm
yeah.
like that. If I have cash around me, it's end up disappearing.
Uh,
I got to
yeah,
have
man.
money in the bank. It's like a little
Uh,
more of a layer for me to touch it. And
yeah,
then if I
spot
put it
on.
into real estate or apartments, I collect rent every month. I feel even better to go buy a car, a
Spot
McLaren.
on, man. Spot
Yeah,
on. Spot on,
yeah,
man. So I've been doing that for a number of years. I probably 12, 13 years now. I'm a bit of a hoarder. I don't sell. I just build that property portfolio.
yes,
I still build in the same suburb. I use the same agent, the same everything when I started 14 years ago.
yeah.
I don't, bite bigger than what I can chew. My dad told me a long time ago, small steps are sweet steps. I stay in my own lane, do my own little projects every
Like
year, use the same builders, the same architect, same everything, man. And, people always ask me to change, to do bigger things. But that's not what I want. For me, I wanted to keep it fun. It has to be fun. I want to
yeah.
do the deals over lunch.
And
I don't want to
simple,
get
not
serious.
stressful. If you have an equation that works for you, like duplicate the equation, right? Why create
Spot
vulnerable
on.
variables? Doesn't make sense. I'm with you. I feel you.
Uh,
So in terms of real estate, you buy property and then build on them, or do you buy like rental, like apartments and
Yeah.
rent them out, or you're
Uh,
actually buying and building?
yeah. So I buy land, man. I buy land land, I buy land, and my formulas usually buy 2 or 3 land every year, around 650 square meters. I don't know how measurements are in US, but that allows me to put 4 townhouses on it. So I put around 8 to 12 townhouses every year.
Oh,
I rent them out and I set and forget. And then they go away. And then I'll do this next project, the next project. And I've been doing that for a long time.
I
Other
love
than that, I started a medicinal cannabis business in the last 2 years. And that
that.
basically, Anodyne Can's all about we connect patients and doctors together. It's quite new in Australia. It's legal, but it's not as big as what it is in the US. So we
Yes.
connect patients and doctors, man. And like some of the times I get on the call with the doctor and I listen to the patients, and it's absolutely mind blowing. Like I never ever thought of it. I'm not going to lie about it. When I started, I thought, well, this is a great industry to get into, something that could blow up. But once I started listening, I realized, wow, there's so many people that are actually suffering. There's so many people that are suffering from pain, and they're trying the traditional medicine and all this kind of stuff, and it's not working. And they need something different, and it's actually making a difference in so many people's lives. And it was a massive eye opener because I
Yeah,
had no
yeah.
idea.
Main points in pain is like there's certain cancers like glaucoma too, right? I know glaucoma is a big one that marijuana solves, right? So I like to hear that because I feel like that's not emphasized enough. Maybe not
No,
just
man.
yet, right? And I see
No,
marketing material, which is minimal because there's a lot of regulations to market this type of,
no,
commodity, let's say, or product. Yeah, it's still very
no.
regulated. But I mean, they have to emphasize that. Like, they like somebody is in legit pain. They then smoked pot or whatever they did it, vaporized it, and then now they
Yeah.
feel better, right? So that's the next big marketing message that's going to go kind of like Marlboro with a cigarette and, with Marilyn Monroe. Once that
Yeah.
visual starts to penetrate, billions are made all over the
Yeah,
place.
I believe in it, man. And to be able to help people, for us, we don't have our own product. We're just connecting the doctors and the patients together. For
Okay.
me, it's just one step at a time.
Yeah.
Once I get that right, I'll build a database and able to also help people. The next step is to import our own product from somewhere. But for me, again, it's just a learning process. It's
Yeah.
quite
Yeah.
new. I'm not in
I,
a rush, man.
I
I'm not in
love
a
your
rush.
outlook on it because, again, not to repeat it, I feel like you eliminate naturally, rapidly, even the vulnerable variables in things you do. Like, you don't need to go. So many people are going so ham into this world and making a brand, a product, this, that, and the third. There's millions invested, and it's not even something that can be really marketed yet, or something that can be really, So it's best to learn what you're doing and then slowly implement these next steps. I feel like that's the smartest way. If I were to go into it, I'd do the same thing,
So
to
true,
an
man.
extent.
So true.
Yeah. So
So
Sam,
true.
let me.
I'm letting it grow
Yeah.
up.
What'd you say?
I'm just letting it grow by itself, get its
That's
own
it.
legs and
That's it.
run
That's
and
it. That's
run.
the way to do it. So let me ask you, Sam. What's like? I always ask, some guests this question. What's like the morning routine that you have that keeps you driven? Like you touched on. I work these long hour days. Is this something you could share that can maybe help somebody that's trying to really get on this lane? Like, is there a morning routine that's maybe some sort of pattern, or
I'll
what?
tell you something. There's been a lot of different routines. During COVID, I used to get up at 5 a.m. and I used to hit the gym. I used to work out, hit the sauna, and I felt absolutely invincible, man. But my morning routine now is I want to see my loved ones first thing in the morning. So I don't get up anymore at 5 a.m. and go to the gym. I get up to see my daughters. I want to see them first thing in the morning, man. And it's crazy. Like seeing them when the little one run to me and hug me every morning, it brings tears to my eyes. It's incredible, dude. I was
Yeah.
never big on kids and all that kind of stuff. I just went through the motions. But for me now, it's to see them get up in the morning and come and hug me. It fills my heart, man. And that's what's important to me.
I feel you. I just had a baby girl. She's going to be 4 months in 2 days. So I
There
can
you go,
feel
bro.
you. I'm watching
Congrats.
her grow up. She's not running to me yet, but she's waking
She
up and
will.
smiling, and it's melting type vibes. I'm with you. You have how many? You said daughters. You have like
I
two.
got two. I got two
Two,
girls, man, and
two
it's
girls.
just absolutely incredible. But it's absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
So for me, it's all about love now. And it's about
Yeah.
slowing down, being able. I'm 44. I don't want to conquer the world anymore, man. I just want to have fun. I want to enjoy with the loved ones, and I just want to feel that love. And I want to, I never had a childhood, so I want to see that through my kids. I want to go through that motion with my girls.
I love it. Absolutely amazing. So, another thought I want to reference before we, with respect to your time and everything. So, You touched on three highlights, which you naturally did, which is awesome. I usually ask that question. Let me ask you, you touched on moments that kind of shifted the altering of your path to success in a sense, which was amazing. Can you touch on other, moments, let's say that were maybe, hurdles in a sense that someone that hears it could maybe get value from? Maybe a moment that was like, you know what, this problem came to me, but I had to overcome it, and this is how I went around that black hole or around that wall. You touched on the a few different points where you had a, you didn't have to go to this guy's your office, so that was something you kind of naturally got around. Is there something else that comes to mind that was like, yeah, this thing almost paused me, but I didn't
No,
stop? Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of moments, man. There's a lot of moments, a lot of barriers, But I'm going to say one thing. Just remember, you can't react and care to everything in life. Sometimes you just got to let it go, and you got to remember something. Over time, people will forget. So we are very hard on ourselves, and we think the world will end if this didn't happen. We talk about scared of being failing, scared of this, scared of that. Sometimes just you don't have to react to everything. Sometimes it's okay to just let things go, and remember that over time, people forget, people change, things happen. Just live your life to the fullest, and don't let anything stop you. And also, the only opinion that really matters is yours and what you think of yourself. If you're a good human being and you know you're doing the right thing, hand on heart, you always be okay, man. And that's really, really important, because we give too much credit to other people's thoughts and what they think of us. As
Wow.
long as you do the right thing, it all comes down to you. You know what I mean?
Oh, major, absolutely major. I feel that, and I'm happy you referenced that. I haven't really heard that, believe it or not, from so many. This is like the 34th episode. I don't know if yet that was really worded the way you just said it. Absolutely amazing. Let me ask you one last question, Sam. In terms of absorption of knowledge and value, is there a particular medium that you're finding you get this type of, I know you naturally are engaging in things, and I use the term, it's like karate lessons. I don't do karate, but when I'm in business, buying and selling, I'm in the media business and I'm in other things as well. I'm naturally going into karate lessons on every call, on every meeting, and I'm teaching and learning myself. I'm sure you have this. I mean, is it maybe books, or is it people around you? Is it activities you daily engage in? Where are you finding the most growth and absorption of this knowledge?
Man, it's I've never read a book in my life. For me, it's just people.
Mhm.
I tap into people that I could have never tapped into if I followed my normal life. And I always pay my way to be at their table in some way or form or shape. And then what I do with it really comes down to me, what I do with that. So for me, it's always, for example, I love cars, I love cars and stuff. But what I love the most is above the cars is the doors that he opens and the people I get to meet through those events, right? And I look up to a lot of people that are older than myself. Experience comes, age with age. So I love listening to people. I love taking in things, and I just listen. I listen and I watch. And after every conversation, every meeting, every interaction, I stop and say to myself, "What did I take away from that?" And that comes down to me, what I take away from it. If I stop and think, there's always a lesson to be learned out of every interaction. But a lot of the times you don't stop and think like that. And we have to, man. And you learn from that. And if I can't get access to a table, then I do what I need to do. I'll pay to a charity, what I need to do, get the access to that table, because that table is full of knowledge and you can learn from absolutely everybody, no matter who they are or what they do. Everybody brings something to the table. If they don't belong at the table.
I love that. Absolutely amazing. I feel that you absorb energy and like just people, and it's quick, and then you sit and retain and think, analyze and act. Absolutely amazing. Sam, I just want to thank you for coming on. I really appreciate this. Appreciate the quick time with you. It was a pleasure. So much gems and knowledge. I own the Billionaires Club along with my partner Ian, as well as the Luxury Lifestyle Magazine. We're always here to support you however we can. Just always know we're right here with you. And it's all love. Keep doing your thing, man. All right?
Thank you. Thank you
Appreciate
for
it,
having me.
brother.
And I appreciate all the love. And thank you so much for making time to catch up with me.
Oh, 1000. You were ready. All love. Keep doing it.
Thank you, man.
Take care, brother.
Thank you for watching this episode. We upload a new episode every Friday at 5 p.m. EST, Eastern Standard Time. We as well greatly appreciate those that have subscribed to the channel. We appreciate the love and the support. Lastly, if you've missed last week's episode, tune into the episode right here.